enough to win on a rematch.
All right, identical builds coming in again here with the Yellow Bear Jelly. So going to be raw execution, and both players were incredibly impressive here when they played set number 2. There were no mistakes made, which oftentimes you look at most maps, you're like, well, these players are so good. Of course there were no mistakes made, but on something like Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest, even at this skill level, I mean, we're in the round of 4. I'm kind of expecting somebody to hit at least one Bitter Bear party, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it came down to what, that 550,000 point difference, right? Just so very small, really comes down to just a couple more of the jellies that you're collecting. Once you transform everything into the Yellow Bears, you just make sure you maximize on that. But also, you have to continue to not make any mistakes once more. So can both of these players show us another clean, perfect run through the Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest? Kim Ga-nu trying to wrap things up on match point here in the semifinals.
Set number 4 loading in. Kim Ga-nu on top, Chuang Tim on bottom. Kim Ga-nu just one map win away from going to that grand finals.
Yeah, pressure's on Chuang Tim to try to survive and take us to a 5th map. So we kick things off in the forest with the gold fossil jelly.
One of those nice, cool starts here, getting your bearings on the Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest, but in a moment, that action's gonna really ramp up here. You gotta thread the needle right away.
Yeah, we'll see, you know, and we called it out earlier as well on this upcoming double jump. You first thread the needle here, both of them get that clean. Chuang Tim trying to get all the Yellow Bear Jellies that he can. I believe Kim Ga-nu still gets just one more, this one, and then the next one gets over it for both players.
Yeah, because there isn't that much time to warm up here in Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest. That is usually the spot where we see players make a mistake, but just like in set number 2, both Kim Ga-nu and Chuang Tim able to get absolutely everything while avoiding those obstacles.
13,000 points difference right now. It just comes down to that 1 or 2 Yellow Bear Jellies that Kim Ga-nu got in the early batch, and that just means that if Chuang Tim can play cleanly, this can flip at any moment's notice.
Yeah, it's basically tied right now. 5 digits is nothing here at 13,000, and every single point getting collected here on both sides. So it's been 13,000 and some change for a long while.
Yeah, they have been absolutely identical since then. Both of them being able to weave through to make sure they get the gold fossil jelly as well. A couple extra Yellow Bear Jellies being left behind by Kim Ga-nu, and that is exactly what swings it back in favor for Chuang Tim.
Yeah, both players missed a couple there, but Kim Ga-nu seems like he left a couple more behind, and so Chuang Tim starting to build up a little bit of a cushion here.
Yeah, did miss another one himself, but he wanted to make sure that he got the blast mode, that he's making sure he collects the big batch, and that should be good for him. Both of them once again jumping just in time to avoid the Bitter Bear Jellies, but still hit that meteor. And they will be able to avoid it, jumping forward. Both of them landing at the exact same spot of the relay.
Yeah, identical spots. Exactly same distance there in the first run as we go into the relay here to the second cookie. And it's a dangerous line you got to run right here. Now, these Bitter Bear parties, normally you wouldn't think of them as super impactful because there aren't quite as many jellies, but with a score this close, everything matters.
Oh, absolutely, right? And especially if you miss a Yellow Bear Jelly party as well, those give the bonus points as well.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to just keep yourself on your toes. Now going with the magnet to collect every single jelly. Chuang Tim still holding on to that lead. Can he maintain it all the way to the end of the race?
I mean, I'm watching Kim Ga-nu's screen right now. My eyes are glued to it, and he's been so clutch, but it feels like Chuang Tim is equally perfect. He's been able to maintain this 200,000 and some change point lead for a while now, and now we're in the twilight of this map.
It comes down to these last bunches of jellies. Will there be a difference maker? Chuang Tim, he has to jump through. He gets exactly the same amount and keeps the 300,000 lead, bringing us to a map 5.
Chuang Tim and Kim Ga-nu are so evenly matched right now, Chobra. This is absurd. We're going to go into a map number 5, and this semifinal is starting to feel like a grand finals with the plays these two gamers are delivering.
Yes, I mean, that was such a clean run from both, right? It literally was who left behind 1 or 2 more Yellow Bear Jellies at which point. Right? Which clusters did you miss out on? The distance ran only 2 units difference, but there you go. 3 more Yellow Bear Jellies in favor of Chuang Tim.
Wow.
And that is what does it.
Yeah, that's wild too, because Kim Gun-woo, you could tell based on the math, he might have had a couple more destruction points or a couple more of the basic jellies, but the Yellow Bear is really carrying the freight there for Chuang Tim, and he needed that win. 300,000 less points in his tournament run, at least for the Grand Championship, it's over. He falls to that third place match. He was fighting for his tournament life in a sense in that way, but he maintains. He is now going to force a map number 5, and it is Kim Gun-woo's selection. And because we've seen basically every map, almost every map once, but Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest twice, I wonder where we're going to go. We cannot see that map again, I'm quite sure.
I mean, I am very curious, right? Yeah, like you said, we shouldn't be able to go back to Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest. We've run through that twice now, so that is out of the question. You cannot repeat it more than 2 times. But for Gun-woo, do you bring us back to Temple of the Sun Central Arena? Because while Tim lost, it is a map that Tim picked. So you imagine that coming into the match, Tim was feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, it's going to be Temple of the Sun, Moonlit Bamboo Grove, or Pineapple Altar. Pineapple Altar only been played once thus far in this entire tournament. It wasn't part of the map pool in the preliminaries. It was in the map pool yesterday, but because the round robin, it is random what map gets played in every individual match, and truly random. We didn't get to see it yesterday at all. We had the first exposure to that in map number 1 here between Kim Gun-woo and Chuang Tim. Will we go there again? We're waiting to see what the decision is.
Yeah, some of the fans here in Seoul saying that this is why you should come watch it live when you have the chance. The energy, they are thriving off of it. This fan saying, I mean, pretty much what everyone's been echoing. This doesn't look like the cookie run I run. You know, it looks like a totally different game. Is this cookie run? Are we sure? We're watching the same game. I mean, hard to believe, but it is. It is, in fact.
Yeah, it's kind of funny actually, because just like you know, you watch the whole preliminaries, we casted the preliminaries, and the players make it look so easy. And then I was on a flight and I played a little bit of it. I'm like, why do I have 5 collisions in the first 3 minutes? What is going on? Why can't I just do it like Kim Gun-woo and Chuang Tim?
They're just built different. You know, so much training goes into this, so many hours of practice. And where does Gun-woo take us?
Wow.
He wants it. He wants the rematch on Pineapple Altar.
This map, it wasn't part of the map pool until this weekend. He's smiling because he knows it's a big surprise to, I think, most everybody here in this stadium. Chuang Tim almost looks stunned by this selection. No, he did win the first time by a 600,000 point margin. Chuang Tim did.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I just want to point this out. This fan is saying that you have Faker in League of Legends. You got Kim Gun-woo and Cookie Run. I mean, hey, if he can continue on, he might be setting up a legacy for himself. But what's interesting here is I think Gun-woo reading into the fact that, okay, even this one was a close run, just like Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest. We saw Tim was able to bring it back and get the revenge on the Forest, but earlier you saw Tim had a choice and he didn't choose this map. So perhaps Gun-woo's saying, okay, you did win, but you're also not that confident on this map. You think it might have been, you know, not necessarily a full fluke, but a little bit of luck on your side.
I think that's a pretty accurate breakdown, too.
It's a bold move.
It was the map that Tim had won. You're right.
So we'll see if Gun-woo can clean things up. This one, it really came down to a couple more of those destruction, a little bit more of that distance run at the end.
But one of the differences, remember, Kim Gun-woo, he went for the basic jellies with the first cookie, whereas Chuang Tim, if memory serves, went for the destruction points, I think. And at the very beginning, Kim Gun-woo actually had a lead before we had a relay into the second cookie. Now, Chuang Tim was able to clutch it out with some better skill activations, getting more distance at the very end. But for Chuang Tim, this is a very smart adjustment. He recognizes that Kim Gun-woo had the better build going for the basic jellies, and he's adapted already.
Dang, taking on the opponent's build, saying, you know what? If I were to use the same build, I would have beaten you even harder. So Tim coming in with a bit of a curveball here. So just again, for those who missed maybe the first run here between these two, Tim had originally started with the extra destruction points on the blue slushy cookie, but this time he's copying Gun-woo and saying, you know what? I respect it. I'm going for the extra points on the basic jellies.
It's very cool to see that kind of adjustment because this is the semifinal stage. It doesn't get much bigger than this. There's only one more match left, the best of 7. And the fact that Chuang Tim is flexible enough and confident enough to change his approach on the final map of this semifinals, that's bold.
Yeah, and you know, that also I think signifies just the fact that either he had something else planned or he just feels it doesn't actually change the build, it's just the passive points that are coming in. I think that might have given me a better lead, so we'll see if it pays off. This is a bit of a gamble on both sides. Ganu bringing it back for a revenge on what was the very first map of this best-of-5 semi-final. Both players on match point, one map to get themselves into the best-of-7 grand finals. It is Kim Ganu going up against Chuang Tim for one last run.
The crowd here absolutely electric. So much support for Kim Ganu and Chuang Tim. It's been a fantastic best-of-5 series, but only one of these players can go to the grand finals.
Yeah, we'll see if Chuang Tim, if that build was really the difference maker. It's kicking things off with the blue slushy cookie here.
Wow, 0-point difference for the longest amount of time here to start things out as Kim Ganu just a little bit better here on these basic jellies.
Yeah, overall, we saw Kim Ganu miss a couple in the early part, but then with all those jumps, Kim Ganu just had a slightly better build there, just better time jumps to secure just a bit more.
Every single giant jelly getting collected there on both sides, and now the destruction points also coming in here with the skill activation. Seems like nearly mirrored, but I'm looking at the score. Okay, for a moment there, I was going to say it looked identical, but the score is better for Kim Ganu, and then the calculation comes through. It's still a very thin margin.
Yeah, it is absolutely neck and neck. Both skipping over the same yellow bear jellies on that section as well as we just jump above and below. Now remember, you also want to make sure that you're collecting all the giant star jellies because those are where the bonus points from the map itself comes through.
Yeah, 5,000 point difference is basically nothing as Kim Ganu did miss one of those yellow bears, but oh boy.
Chuang Tim missing a giant star jelly here.
Yeah, that's huge. 200,000 points now in the advantage of Kim Ganu. That's significant.
Yeah, that's an instant swing, and I don't think any build difference is going to make that up for you. You just have to make sure that you are clean on the rest of it. Still gets the giant potion, though, so he'll still be able to keep up on the energy.
Yeah, Chuang Tim with those single jumps just timed a little bit better than Kim Ganu. That's going to do some damage. That 200,000 point lead, it's been shaved down to just 130K, so he is making progress.
Yeah, but listen, State, in my mind, I think if it stays anywhere relative to this, right, somewhere below 500,000, no matter who's in the lead, it comes down to how well they use their skills in the werewolf section.
Yeah, that is very important. Chuang Tim definitely flexed his muscles with that skill activation in the second half. Let's not forget that Kim Ganu in set number 1 had an even bigger lead than this, and still it was lost because Chuang Tim was that much better with the skills.
Yeah, we'll see once we get to that relay. For now, still a little bit more energy left here with the blue slushy cookie. Chuang Tim trying to catch up, brings it down to about 100,000 point difference. Still very, very close between these two semifinalists.
Yeah, after the math comes in, it's a 100,000 point lead right now for Kim Ganu as we're getting closer and closer to that relay, and my mind is already thinking ahead to that werewolf cookie. If Kim Ganu, will he be able to clutch it out? Will he be able to get the better skill activations? Because it is anybody's game right now, Chobra.
It absolutely is, and that's all manual once you're on the werewolf cookie, so it will come down to absolute skill checks. Both of them going for one more use of the skill here with the blue slushy cookie, firing down those arrows, transforming those jellies onto the platforms, getting that final jump. Okay, both of them landing with that collision, and now here we go with the werewolf cookie.
So Chuang Tim, last time we played on this set, had just a little bit more energy saved on this werewolf cookie. That gave him a lot more distance and a ton more points at the very end. Kim Ganu with only 150,000 point lead. He has to be so crisp with these timings. Activate the skill only at the last possible moment and deactivate it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you just have to make sure that you know exactly when to activate it, so when the meter runs out, that you're going to be in the right place to recharge that meter for another transformation for the destruction. The giant star jellies all being collected by both players.
You got to be so perfect with these timings right now. Kim Ganu, the skill activations have been clutch thus far. I'm not sure if he's going to make the same mistake that he did there in set number 1. He is looking revitalized here in set 5.
Yeah, both of them getting all the destruction on the upper floor as well. They drop back down, skips the magnet, making sure that they're jumping onto the giant star jelly. Now this was such an intense section. Both of them were pretty clean on that first set, getting those single jumps, no collisions, collecting all the giant star jellies.
Oh, it's incredible what we're seeing from both of them. Honestly, this feels like a 5-star difficulty map, having to thread the needle this many times to maximize the points, and Kim Ganu right now at 500,000.
All right, here we go. One of the last uses here. Now we have to keep an eye on it. You want to get enough meter charged up to get one last use before your energy runs out. You're going to have to dodge all the obstacles. Here comes the blast mode, and then right as it ends, there's the activation. Is there a difference as they both jump forward? And it is Kim Ga-nu who takes the win and secures a 3-2 victory, moving on to the grand finals.
The crowd absolutely erupted with that victory. Kim Ga-nu, he might have faltered in set number 1 on the Pineapple Altar, but in set 5 with everything on the line, he is victorious.
Oh man, what an absolute show. What an absolute performance from both of these players. Really could have been a grand finals, but at the end of the day, only one will move on towards that trophy, and it'll be Kim Ga-nu getting to take another challenge to keep his spot as the reigning champion.
Kim Ga-nu, he's faced so much adversity from the preliminaries into the round of 8, and now here in the round of 4 in the semifinals. He has been on the brink of elimination so many times in this tournament, I think more than literally anybody, and every single time he has persevered. He has emerged victorious despite the pressure. And now he is going to the grand finals. He is going to be facing Kukushi. He's going to write his celebration here on the board.
And he just says, I was always the favored one. The word for Korean saying I was the favorite here in this matchup. This was always going to be the result. Closes out what he believes would have been an upset, and Kim Ga-nu protects his spot. Calling himself the favorite now, stepping into the grand final, a bold move. But hey, it paid off. He was able to carry through and stand up to his word. What a run, getting the revenge match to wrap things up. We started on Pineapple Altar and we wrapped it up on the same exact map.
Absolutely, and for Chuang Tim, what an incredible run. He still has the 3rd place match to play through, but this was a semifinal for the ages. At times, it felt like a grand final. Every single match, barring the one where we had just a collision, was decided by just a couple 100,000 points. It was so incredibly close. Chuang Tim, he's still going to be fighting for that 3rd place match. I think he has a very good chance of winning that 3rd place match, given the way that he just performed against Kim Ga-nu. We are going to be seeing him again. But my goodness, Kim Ga-nu, I cannot describe the perseverance that he has displayed from the preliminaries all the way to the round of 8 and here in the round of 4. This guy is tough to beat. You just cannot knock him out.
Like you said, I mean, it doesn't matter how you do it as long as you're constantly moving on, right? Even if it gets close, you know, if you have enough experience to know, okay, how can I bring this back? Where can I target my opponent? Where can I regain my confidence? Well, then you'll continue moving on in the bracket. And it's cool that we got to see Pineapple Altar from both of those players as well, of course, showing some of that technique that we hadn't seen yet because we hadn't seen the map, right? Kind of making sure that you're sometimes dodging some of those that you want, some of those power-ups like the magnet or sometimes the blast mode to make sure that you're getting better advantages out of your pet and skill activation. And guess what? Both of them showed good cases of both, right? We had Tim win once, but that's Ga-nu winning when it matters.
Yeah, the latter part of that map with a werewolf cookie seems like one of the most difficult areas in any of the maps that we've seen thus far. It's one of the reasons, I'm sure, why they saved this one for the semifinals and the round of 8 and the finals, because this is a little bit too intense for the preliminaries. We're playing on the big maps now.
Yeah, no, we're getting into the main game. Now, of course, moving on to later on, the grand finals will have the Moonlit Clock Tower come in as well. So there is another chance we see another map that we haven't seen yet in the pool so far for the World Championship. But ladies and gentlemen, we do have 2 more matches left. Like we've kept on mentioning, Jung-ho and Chuang Tim are not entirely eliminated out of the tournament. They still fight for a little bit of that prize pool to at least put themselves on the podium. Yeah,
they're going to play in a $2,000 money match best of 3, basically, because 4th place, you don't get much. 3rd place, you do leave with that $2,000, and that's going to be a very intense one. I'm sure Jung-ho really wants some redemption after that 3-0.
Yeah. I mean, because he was looking so confident yesterday, and unfortunately just gets absolutely swept against Kukushi. So at least some honor back to his name would be great. But Chuang Tim as well. I mean, what a brutal match against Kim Ga-nu. I think he would still want something for all his troubles that he's had so far here in Seoul at the World Championship, even if it means that he's not able to walk towards that trophy.
Yeah, and it's not just about the prize money either. It's about the fame, it's about the glory, and also for Chuang Tim, it's about representing the entire global cookie run of and break community, because he is the last one standing here. and the round of 4. It has been a difficult path, but he's made it here. He's still going to fight for that 3rd place spot.
Yeah, I am very excited for both of those, right? The 3rd place match as well, but then the best of 7. I mean, if it's anything like what we just saw between Tim and Gonu, it'll be an absolute brutal match between the 2 finalists, which is going to be Kukushi and Kim Gonu. And listen, we've got those 2 big matches, the most important matches left, but so far this weekend has already delivered way beyond expectations for sure.
Absolutely, especially this last semifinal match was so exciting. Kim Gonu dropping the first set, but he brings it back to Pineapple Altar there in set number 5. And we have, in my opinion, the closest and most hard-fought series of the entire tournament thus far between Kim Gonu and Chuang Tim, 3-2.
Yeah, what an absolute series here from Gonu and Chuang Tim. Now, I have to wonder if Kukushi was maybe watching this match, getting a little bit worried about the potential of Pineapple Altar showing up in the grand finals, right? Even if it's not the random draw, maybe Gonu says, "Well, I haven't seen you play it. Let's see what you got. You know, let's see if you know the exact builds here to try to make the big run towards that high score." So we'll have to keep our eyes on that as well, as Gonu definitely seems to know how to manipulate the draft in his favor.
Oh, absolutely. And Pineapple Altar, the fact that we haven't seen it until now, just brilliant map drafting by Kim Gonu. Honestly, skill checking Tim a little bit there, saying, you know what, I can come through with the skill activations at that end. I can maintain the lead from the first half, and that's going to be the grand finals. Kukushi versus Kim Gonu. That will happen after the 3rd place match, a best of 3 between Jung Ho and Chuang Tim.
Oh boy, 2 more big matches awaiting us here this weekend. We've got the best of 3 for that prize money for 3rd place, still putting their name on the podium, right? Still being listed as one of the winners in the top 3 at this tournament. But of course, then the big prize, the grand final, which sure, you get some prize money still in 2nd place, but it feels like it would be an all or nothing match, as you have the extra bonuses like the trophy and of course that special bonus that you get as that 1st place winner as well.
Yeah, getting to choose the custom costume. That's going to be a lot of fun. We might get one of these cookies revitalized here, bring it back into the meta. I've been thinking about this. Personally, I would love the skater cookie to get a custom costume.
The skater cookie? I
like speed.
Yeah, you want, okay. Yeah,
I want to go the distance.
You want to keep it simple, but you want to look cool doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You got me. You got me.
I understand. I mean, skater cookie is nice. Skater cookie is nice. I like the theme as well. It just goes well along with, you know, what he's got, which isn't much, but he's got speed.
It's a cool cookie.
That's what matters. We will see. I am so curious now we're down to 2 players who have the option, right? Kukushi or Kim Gonu. What would be their choice in terms of being able to choose which cookie gets that costume? But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to watch some highlights from this epic match we just had, and then we will return with a 3rd place match.
토스마분들이 챙겨주면서 400점씩. 아, 이거 이제 끝을 향해 갑니다. 여기서 자, 방선부 봐야 되거든요. 얼마나 긴장될까요? 바람 점프! 55만 점! 김건우 선수가! 자, 내려가서 여기서 극단으로 통과를 하면서 충돌이 나왔습니다. 절레! 양 선수가 너무 깔끔해요. 점프! 자, 갑니다! 김건우 선수가 먼저 앞서 나갑니다. 1초. 바람 점프. 들어가요. 완결젤리. 자, 바람. 바로 1 찍으면서 결승으로 갑니다.
쿠키랑 오븐브레이크 월드 챔피언십 4강 2번째 매치까지 만나봤습니다. 5세트까지 간 끝에 김건우 선수가 결승에 진출했습니다. 자, 이렇게 해서 결승 대진이 모두 완성되었는데요. 쿠쿠시 선수와 김건우 선수의 결승이 완성되었습니다. 자, 이번 청팀 선수와 김건우 선수에도 매치 포인트가 굉장히 많았는데요. 첫 번째 매치부터 한번 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 우리 종아님 어떻게 생각하시나요? 이번에 어떤 포인트가 있었을까요?
네, 저는 이제 가장 기억에 남는 맵은 이제 세트 1 파인애플 재단 맵인데요. 뭐
네.
맵을 간략하게 소개해드리자면 이제 원시림 맵의 왕별젤리 리메이크 버전입니다. 대형 생명 물약을 획득할 때마다 왕별젤리 점수가 증가하기 때문에 네, 왕벨젤리를 잘 챙겨 먹어야 되고 한편으로는 장애물도 잘 부숴야 되는 맵인데요.
네.
네, 이번 경기에서 그 가장 결정타가 되었던 부분은 후반부에 그 청팀의 펫이 발동하면서 자력 아이템이 등장을 하게 되는데 그때 청팀은 이 자력 아이템을 먹고 이제 김건우 선수는 이 부분을 못 먹어서 여기서 점수가 역전된 부분이 가장 크지 않았나 싶습니다. 그래서 이 자세한 부분을 이제 꼬키스 해설자님께서 설명해 주시겠습니다.
네, 저도 김건우 선수의 빌드를 보고 저게 확실히 실수라는 걸 알 수 있었는데요. 제가 본선 빌드를 좀 준비를 해보면서 김건우 선수의 빌드를 봤단 말이에요. 근데 김건우 선수는 이제 웨어울프 능력에서 광속 질주를 더 많이 겹쳐서 거리를 늘리면은 이제 팬 능력이 끊기지 않고 쭉 자석이 먹힌 상태로 이어집니다. 근데 첫 매치에서는 이제 그거를 실수를 해가지고 늦게 됐고 이제 이거를 5매치에서 만회를 하면서 승리하는 모습을 보여줬고요. 청팀 선수는 아마 처음부터 그게 중간에 끊기는 거를 고려를 하고 만든 빌드인 것 같아요. 그래서 1매치, 5매치에서 일관되게 끊기는 대신 잘 먹는 빌드를 썼던 것 같고요. 이어서 제가 생각하는 또 매치 중에 2매치가 굉장히 기억에 남는데 2세트가 굉장히 남는데 무시무시한 곰젤리 무림에서 중간부터 끝까지 계속 비등비등한 점수 차이를 유지하다가 마지막에 바락점프 구간에서 점수가 50만 점까지 확 벌어지거든요. 이걸 자세히 보니까 청팀 선수가 마지막에 슈크림 젤리를 하나 먹지 못했습니다. 왜 이렇게 됐는지 생각해보면은 청팀 선수가 김건우 선수에 비해서 선달 바락이 조금 더 길었던 것 같아요. 그래서 슈크림 맛 쿠키는 젤리를 먹으면서 바락 점프를 하니까 정해진 위치에서 바락 점프를 해야 하는데 청팀 선수는 오히려 선달 바락이 너무 길어버려서 이제 슈크림 맛 쿠키 바락을 조금 더 오버해서 했는데도 그 슈크림 젤리가 먹히지 않은 게 착인이었던 것 같습니다.
네, 와, 또 엄청난 분석 감사드립니다. 저는 김건우 선수가 마지막에 맵을 픽할 때 정말 상남자가 아닌가라는 생각이 들었습니다. 왜냐하면 첫 번째 경기를 펼쳤을 때 850만, 850과 849였는데 아쉬웠잖아요. 여기서 내가 한 번 더 보여주겠다라는 생각으로 마지막 맵을 골랐는데 거기서 또 이렇게 850, 851로 승리를 거두면서 결승에 진출하게 됐습니다. 자, 저희가 또 다음 경기가 준비되어 있는데요. 다음은 어떤 경기가 준비되어 있죠, 종환님?
네, 상금 2,000달러를 걸고 정호 선수와 김건우 선수의 3위 결정전이 펼쳐지게 됩니다.
네, 맞습니다. 아무래도 상금은 3위까지밖에 주어지지 않기 때문에 거의 뭐 결승전급 경기가 나오지 않을까라는 생각이 드는데요. 저희 3위 경기는 바로 시작되니까요. 여러분 기다려주시기 바랍니다. 중계석 나와주세요.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We now have only 2 matches left here at the Cookie Run Oven Break World Championships.